Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee Chat Live. This is the official or unofficial spooky edition of Coffee Chat Live. We're here Halloween weekend. I've got Jason from Mission Control with me. Super excited. This is Jason's first time on Coffee Chat, so if you're tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, what we do here is we have a quick 15-minute chat. This is the anti-webinar. We don't like structure. We don't like going on. We don't like slide decks. We're just having a little chat. So Jason, how are you? How are you doing today?
Well, as soon as you popped on with your Halloween theme, I had to get a background similar because I love Halloween. I mean, you turn on the radio on Halloween, you got awesome music, and you got your Ghostbusters and your thrillers, hence the background. But this is one of my favorite weekends of the year. I'm in a great place. How are you?
That's great. I'm doing well too, and I love your background. It is like you feel it. It's like it feel like it snuck up on me this year because Halloween's on a Sunday, so it's like all of a sudden it's like whoa, like this is like the Friday before Halloween. This is the last work day. This is the Halloween work day. But I'm excited to go into the weekend. Going to go to a Halloween party. Last year we didn't get to really do those. I don't even remember what I did on Halloween last year. I think I moved. I moved on Halloween.
Ours got canceled entirely. So I think there's a lot of people in my area, especially that are really looking to just go out and do what they used to do a couple of years ago for Halloween. Kids and adults.
Yeah. So, what's Halloween like in Toronto?
Oh, come on. It's the same thing. Kids go out trick-or-treating. If you're funny enough, so my eldest turned 15, but the last time he was out was 13 because of COVID. The year before it was not happening. And I asked him, so you going out trick-or-treating this year? He looks at me, what am I, 6? Like this attitude of a 15-year-old kid. He's done. And I didn't see it coming. And he just told dad, no. Halloween is different for me now, father, crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they've changed it a little bit. Like in the town where I grew up, where my parents still live, they do trick-or-treating during the day now, like middle of the day, which is interesting. I don't know if it's like a safety thing or something. Yeah, and now they have the recommendations for individually wrapped candies, all that. So whatever. People got to do what they got to do in this COVID times to make it happen. I respect it. I don't know. I'm wondering if any trick-or-treaters are going to come knock on my apartment door, my high rise. I haven't done it here before. I don't know what trick-or-treating is like in Manhattan, honestly. But yeah, Jason, Mission Control. I love you guys at Mission Control. You do so much for the MSP communities. You help, MSPs that, need help a lot, in like expanding in areas, without necessarily bringing on a ton of staff, standardizing things, helping after hours. So much is needed in this world where, it's hard to hire people and it's hard to grow fast. You guys, you make that easy and you make that possible. Why don't you give just a brief description of Mission Control and, what you guys do and maybe shed some light on why we love working with you guys so much.
Well, those are kind words. I mean, well, the concept of Mission Control is we're expanding an MSP where they don't have to hire, right? We're acting as an extension of them. It's a white label extension. So everything that we do is supposed to feel and sound and act and behave like we are the MSP. When an end user calls in, they're really calling into the MSP business. But inevitably, if the phone's afforded to us, we answer. We answer as them. We do the support as them. If we're doing service support in the background, it's done as them. Everything's done as an extension of that MSP business. And so they can be 24/7 without having that in-house. They can have certain skill sets and resources without having that in-house. And it just allows an MSP to grow and scale and do a lot and be able to service their clients in a lot of ways they wouldn't otherwise. And that's why it's such a natural fit with the SOC component of Barracuda MSP Scout, because when it comes to the SOC component, that every MSP now, if they're not doing SOC, they realize they have to. And when those security alerts come along with an integrated knock and SOC, that's why this relationship works so well, because we can automate that kind of stuff with you. I think that's what a lot of our mutual partners really like about the relationship and the integration. It's just slick and smooth. But that's the quick and dirty what we do, and I guess how it relates to Scout back. So
Yeah. So something else I love about working with you guys and when we do like go marketing and stuff like that or events together, is your community and your users and partners. Like I really feel like um MSPs who are partnered with Mission Control, like and this is true for a lot of the MSP industry, but especially for you guys, like they're willing to help each other out, they're collaborating, they're talking to each other. When you have events and stuff, people are getting on, they know each other, stuff like that. And like that doesn't really happen in other industries. We've talked about that before on Coffee Chat Live, where people, who could be seen as competitors, all getting in, helping each other out. And, like we just, we there's so much to do. There's so much work to be done from the IT and cyber communities. So, helping each other out is the only option here. But we're doing a webinar together, right?
Yeah.
Next week. It's exciting. We've got a ton of people signed up, a lot of mission control partners. We've got a lot of scout partners signed up. This is our second one. I really like working. Jason's great to work with on webinars because we're like, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do. We'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. We know how to like feed off each other without, like really, really doing like a ton of practice set. Like it's more, back and forth, I think.
More organic, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like I'd like to know. There's one thing that I'd really like to know. And it's what is your favorite candy?
It's not most. I'm gonna say it, and then you're like, why? Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls?
Tootsie
It's a
Rolls.
true classic.
You don't. First of all, you're never gonna get or buy or find a Tootsie Roll outside of Halloween. I don't know. I mean, you can walk into a convenience store and get one, but you're never gonna buy one. But then Halloween comes along, and it's not the big long. It's the little one where you can have one or two or three and not hate yourself, and it's yummy, and it has a texture that no other candy has. Tootsie Roll.
What about the fruity Tootsie Rolls? I think are underrated.
I've never had
Never
one.
had
I didn't even
No,
know
They
there
have
was a thing.
all sorts of Tootsie
They're
Roll
so good.
derivatives.
Yeah, they're good.
You just changed my morning. Like, I'm going out when this is done, when the coffee chat is over. I'm going out. I'm gonna find me some Tootsie Rolls, different flavors. Have a good morning.
They're like Starburst Light.
Okay. I get that. I like
And
Starbucks.
I had a question for you, Jason. I wanted to know, where were you and what were you doing before Mission Control?
I was running an MSP. I mean, I think the concept of mission control just comes out of our MSP experience. I mean, we were no different than the majority of our partners. We had an MSP business. It was local to, I live in Toronto, right? So it was local to Toronto. And we wanted to have 24/7. We had some clients that needed it. We wanted to sleep at night, so our servers we knew would be watched, and if anything would happen, someone would take care of it, or at least wake us up. If we had users who needed help after hours, it didn't always fall on me or on the rest of my staff. All those things, and we utilized services that were out there. There really aren't that many companies that do what we do in the space. There were even less back then, but we tried them, and essentially mission control was born out of what we were trying to do for ourselves. I think a lot of success stories come like that, but that's where it comes from. So everything that we did to build mission control was done from the MSP perspective, because that's the life that I know and that we knew. And when we started the company, all of our senior not all, but a lot of our senior technicians moved over from that MSP business because we wanted to run it from that MSP point of view, because that's what we did.
And what was like one of the most difficult parts about the transition, and how hard was it to like rebrand the company?
Well, it was a totally new company, but I think the difficult part of it is the white labeling part of it, right? Because obviously I'm not going to answer the phone as mission control. We're going to answer the phone as that MSP. Language is obviously important, time zones and geographical important, but feeling the white label part of it, that's very, very core and critical to the success of this relationship. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're deep in that relationship between the MSP and their customer, right? So it's got to feel smooth.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most important relationships too, because they're calling after hours, or it's usually not like, hey, I'm feeling good and just want to, you're getting the calls at the most difficult times, the most difficult calls often.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it comes now we're servicing globally, right? So our nighttime is Australia's daytime, just as an example,
Right.
for an Australian partner. UK, similar idea. There's a lot of time shift, but yeah, if there's something going on at night, it's usually pretty important. And for an MSP, they don't want to be reactive to those situations when they wake up in the morning and something's already broken, right? They want to be proactive, and whether it's a key VIP who's got an issue late at night and they've got to get something done for the morning, or it's a server that went down or a site that went down, you've got to know. So.
Well, I always love when people who are in the MSP space worked, at an MSP or owned an MSP or ran an MSP first, because you just know that the mission is there. You know that you're solving a true problem that you had. So I definitely admire you for that. But yeah, let's take some time now. We've got like 3-4 minutes left in this coffee chat. We try to keep them short. I'd like to hear from John down in Florida. John, what do you have going on this weekend? Any Halloween plans?
Well, I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, so
You're booked up.
trick or treating is what is happening. And then once trick or treating is done and we've given out all the candy that we can, and it's time for bed, well, we turn off the lights and the night is over. There's going to be tons and tons of people outside of my door even after they go to bed, though, because our neighborhood happens to be one that was featured on the Washington Post a few years ago as one of the top places in the entire country to go trick-or-treating. Wow. There are people that drive in from outside the neighborhood to specifically go in our neighborhood. It is nuts. We buy on the average of like 20 pounds of candy, and it's all gone within a few hours.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. My God. So where I grew up, they had this thing that I didn't know wasn't everywhere else, but they had this thing the night before Halloween called Mischief Night. You guys know what that is?
No. I've heard of it vaguely.
I definitely do, yeah.
Okay, so what we would do, what everyone would do in the neighborhood, or maybe I just thought everyone did, is the night before Halloween, you'd run around and take rolls of toilet paper and throw them in people's trees. And then dress their tree, and then you go and the other kids, it definitely wasn't me, would smash Halloween, would smash pumpkins and cause general mischief. So I don't know now, toilet paper is sort of like a touchy subject. I don't know how throwing it through trees would work, but I also didn't know that was specific to the New York, Philly metropolitan region. I think it is. I don't know. Jared, you guys had that in Connecticut?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was, to my knowledge, everyone knew that the night before Halloween was Mischief Night too.
I never heard of this thing. That's so cool.
Yeah,
cool. Toilet paper in a tree.
Growing up in Northern Virginia and North Carolina, we didn't have that. That sort of stuff would still happen, but it usually happened late on Halloween, like after trick and treating is already over.
It was like a thing, like even parents would go with their kids and go dress their neighbor's tree up, stuff like that, little things. Obviously some people did actual damage, like eggs and stuff like that, but most of it was just harmless fun. But yeah, that was the real holiday I looked forward to as a kid. And it was like sport fishing with the police officers too. Because the police officers would be on quadruple patrol. They'd have everyone out there, but it was just all kids, throwing toilet paper. It was catch and release, oh, we got you, go home, yeah, Halloween, Mischief Night. Hey, Halloween weekend, baby. It's gonna be a big one. But yeah, we're running out of time here. I just got off on this Mischief Night tangent. But any last words? Jared, Daniel, John, Jason, close us out.
Eat candy.
Yeah, I hope everyone has a happy Halloween. I hope Jason can find those free Tootsie Rolls. I promise they're worth it. Very good.
It shouldn't be hard.
I'm gonna look for sure. But no, I mean, everything from pumpkin carving with your families to trick or treating. Just stay safe, but enjoy it. One of my favorite times of the year for sure. I hope to see you next week at the webinar.
Cheers to that. Sign up for our webinar and thank
Just
you.